Is that even legal to say to a student? Hey guys, it's Trent, and welcome to my channel. I'm gonna get a little bit heated in this video. I'm telling you that right now ahead of time. Me telling this story is a very easy way to get me annoyed, but I think it's a really great and entertaining story to tell. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'm telling you guys the story of the worst teacher that I ever had. I'm not gonna mention what grade it was in, even though if you use your context clues, you probably would have figured it out. I'm not gonna mention the name, the subject, or anything. Even though this person completely disrespected me, I'm not gonna disrespect them and give out that information. One of us has to act like an adult here, but let me stop being petty. So yeah, let's get into this. For the most part, I really loved going to school. I hated middle school, but other than that, I never really had an issue with school. I got good grades in all my classes. For the most part, I struggled with math, but doesn't everybody? I was a very quiet kid. I just went into class, got my work done, and left. I wasn't really an issue for teachers. They just let me do what I had to do, and then I was out. Basically, I was just really quiet, and I was mostly just there to get my work done and get out. That's just a little bit about me and the kind of student I was, because that's very important for this video. I was new to this school that I was going to. I was so excited to come to this school. Also kind of nervous because, you know, it's a new school. So you're excited but nervous at the same time. A lot of people you don't know. Maybe some people you might know. It just depends. And it's just a whole new experience for you and completely different than what you're used to. So I was really excited yet nervous. Since it was a new school, I didn't really know where my classes were. It was time to go to second period, and I had to ask a teacher to help me find this classroom because I had no idea where it was at. The teacher that I asked was actually the teacher that I was supposed to be going to. When I asked the teacher where this room was, this teacher replied, "Well, if you would read the sign right here, you would know that this is the room." Like, okay, I didn't need your sass, but I guess thanks anyways for giving it to me. That was the first encounter that I had with this teacher. Little did I know that was just one of many occasions where I would feel completely offended and annoyed by this teacher. I should have left when I had the chance. Speaking of leaving when I had the chance, I forgot to mention this later on in the video, but I did end up going to the principal regarding this teacher, but since every other class was full, I was stuck in this class, you know, just my luck. So I didn't really have a choice but to be stuck in this class for the rest of the year, which is why I didn't end up leaving the class, and which is why I dealt with this stupid teacher for the entire year. Trust me, if I had a choice, I wouldn't have done it. Anyways, after that rude remark, I went into the classroom and I sat down. This teacher called me out in front of the entire class about how I couldn't apparently read room numbers. I was a shy kid. I was already nervous enough about being at that school. Plenty of other kids were having the same issues that I was, yet I get called out for not knowing where I was going. It was stupid. That was the first encounter I had with this teacher, but there's plenty more. I'm just gonna tell you guys a few more stories that I have with this teacher. The next story that stands out to me is when this teacher literally called me stupid. This teacher didn't kind of call me stupid. This teacher didn't necessarily hint that I was stupid. The teacher straight up looked at me in the face and called me stupid. Here's what happened. Somebody that I was very close to ended up dropping out, and they dropped out with only like 3 or 2 months of school left. The teacher started talking about how stupid that student was for dropping out when that student was so close to graduating. The teacher was saying some very rude things about this person, and I wasn't okay with it since I was really close with this person. I raised my hand and I politely asked him to stop because I'm close to that person, and it's really upsetting me how this teacher was talking about him. Tell me why after I politely asked this teacher to stop talking about it, the teacher looks at me and says, "Since you're close with him, I bet you're gonna be like him." Okay, that was the teacher kind of calling me stupid. I replied to the teacher by saying, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna be like him." The teacher responds by saying, "That's a shocker considering how stupid you are." What? Is that even legal to say to a student? I don't... Man, as I said, I'm a very nice person. I was quiet in school. I just went in there to get my work done and left. I never talked back to teachers or anything. I was never rude to anybody. I just minded my own business. But when this teacher said that, I got extremely upset. When he basically called me stupid, I told him that he was a jerk. Except I didn't say jerk. I'm not gonna say what word that slipped out of my mouth, but it wasn't that pleasant. This teacher told me to go in the hall and I just sat in the hall. The first and only time I ever got kicked out of class, by the way. The bell rang and I went back in to get my stuff. This teacher didn't even send me to the principal's office or anything. Surprisingly, the teacher apologized for what he said, which shocked me because this teacher was extremely rude. So the fact that they apologized actually kind of meant a lot to me. It made me feel like this person wasn't that bad. But that wasn't the case at all. This was a very terrible person. I just have a big heart and forgive people who don't deserve it. It's one of the instances that stick out the most to me. 2 more stories for you though. This next one is going to be a little roast session that we had going back and forth in class. This teacher gave out homework every single night. That didn't really bother me because, you know, it's just homework. The issue is though is that I struggled in this class so bad. I didn't understand any of it. I was always confused. And this person was really bad at explaining things to us. It was more of like, here, do this and ask me if you have any questions. but even when you asked for questions, it didn't make much sense. Just very bad at explaining things. So this class was more of like a do-it-yourself type class. Basically like, here's a 500-page textbook, good luck, I wish you the best. And if you fail, it's not my problem. Kind of your problem when all of your students were failing and you didn't really help them when they asked for it, but that's none of my business. Oh wow, all these years later I'm still roasting this person. Oh well. Anyways, there was a lot of times when I didn't do my homework simply because I didn't know how to do it. And since the teacher wouldn't help me, I didn't really care enough to do it, so I didn't. I mean, I would spend hours trying to figure out how to do the homework and I couldn't figure it out, so I just stopped. I'm not going to spend my whole day stressing about it when I don't understand it. The teacher decided to call me out again in front of the class about how I didn't do the homework. Barely anybody did the homework. This teacher couldn't teach at all, yet I get called out. I swear the teacher had a vendetta against me, and I know exactly why too. The teacher had a vendetta against me because the teacher had my brother before, and they basically always compared me to him and how he was like a perfect student, understood everything, was very nice and everything. For one, I'm a nice person. For two, I understand things for the most part. It's not my fault that you're a bad teacher. Something must have changed from then to now. That or my brother's just better at self-teaching. But anyways, he had a vendetta against me because I wasn't like my brother. Which, you know, everybody compared me to him. I was used to it. But nobody treated me differently because of that. Back to the story. When the teacher called me out in front of the class about not doing my homework, man, here's how the conversation went. They said, oh, look at this. Trent didn't do his homework, no surprise there. And I replied, oh, look at that. You didn't even teach us, no surprise there. They replied, oh, look at that. Trent being disrespectful again. I replied, oh, look at that. You being a child again. And I kind of felt bad because I was never mean to teachers. But looking back, that's actually very funny and I'm actually kind of proud of it. That went on for about a minute or so, but that was the only part of it that I remember. The thing about that situation was that they were laughing. They were probably kidding and not being serious. On my side of things, I kind of meant everything that I said, and I kind of wasn't kidding. I was kind of like being serious and telling you that you're a crappy teacher and that you're extremely rude and childish. I mean, I was being serious. Here's the last story I'm gonna tell you guys about this teacher. Exam time comes around. We were allowed to have a note card, but it was a small note card. We were allowed to put whatever information we wanted to on this note card, as long as it was all on one note card. Either that or have no note card at all and you would get some extra credit points on the exam. I was failing the class, so I decided to take the extra credit points, which was stupid of me because you think it would be smarter to have a note card with the information and the answers than to have extra credit points. But the extra credit was like an extra 20%. Anyways, I decided to go with the 20% route, even though it was a dumb decision. That's what I went with. When I told my teacher that I wasn't using a note card, they said, oh yeah, you are definitely gonna need that 20%. At first, I kind of took it as, okay, you're right, I'm failing, I need the extra credit. Then they said, at the same time, having all the answers wouldn't hurt you either. But honestly, could you even fill out a whole note card to even know anything? Listen, buddy, listen. You're right, I don't know anything at all. I'm not even mad about that. The fact you told me that is what makes me upset. You're not wrong, but you shouldn't have said that to me. It was exam day, which meant it was the last day of me being in that class. I was over that teacher, I was over that class, I was over that year at that point, to be honest with you. I just wanted to be out and to enjoy my summer, not having to worry about this person in my life anymore. Then the worst happened, but also something that I was expecting. I failed the exam. Since I failed the exam, it meant I would have to retake the class. That extra credit brought me to a higher F. That's what it did for me. And like, I'm not blaming my teacher for like me failing, but the fact that the teacher didn't really teach that much didn't really help my case. Not entirely their fault, but you kind of have to teach your students and help them out when they ask for it, or else they're gonna fail. Regardless, I failed, which meant I had to retake the class. I almost started crying when I found out that I failed the exam, because the teacher graded it in front of us. And I literally almost started crying. Not even because I failed, because I was stuck in that class again. The last thing that I wanted of my life was to be in that class. It was the last thing I wanted to do. I would rather jump out the building than be in that class again. Then something amazing happened, okay? Something that probably should have offended me, but I took it as a freaking gift from the heavens above. Oh man, okay, I'm telling you guys, this was amazing. I failed, okay? And when the teacher graded my exam, they gave me an extra 10% to give me the D. That didn't sound right. I'm dying. If only you guys knew the irony behind what I just said. To give me a passing grade. So that way I wouldn't have to retake the class. The teacher looked at me and said, I literally only did this just so I wouldn't have you as a student again. I looked at the teacher and said, thank God, because I don't want you as a teacher again. We had a mutual understanding and a mutual frustration with each other. A mutual dislike, if you will. I should have been offended by that remark, but I was honestly just so happy I didn't have to deal with that teacher anymore. Those are just some of many, many stories that I have with the worst teacher that I ever had in my entire life. I have so many more stories regarding that teacher, but that's all I have for this video. Maybe later on I'll make another video with more stories, but for now that's all I got. Leave a like if you enjoyed, share it with your friends if you want to, and if you think that they'll find this video funny or relatable or enjoyable, comment down below telling me any stories that you have with any terrible teachers that you've had before. Everybody has at least one teacher that they didn't like and that really annoyed them, and that one class that they just couldn't stand. So comment down below telling me about that. And be sure to subscribe if you are new. If you're new to my channel, about to leave a comment, you might as well just press that subscribe button while you're going down there. And be sure to tap that bell to be notified whenever I post. Thank you guys for watching, thank you so much for the support, and see you guys in the next video.